There's
Your wife likes that?
yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah. The woody sense, like we actually went, it reminds us of this time that we went hiking in a forest, and there was this amazing smell that came out of the forest. We were just like, oh my God, what is this? This smells wonderful. And then we smelled it in an oud. We were like, this is the smell. This is the smell. This is that wonderful smell. Like, it was amazing.
Well, I could say the same thing about the barnyard smell, because I was working. I was actually.
He says challenging. Yeah. I mean, you have no idea what he's talking about.
Some of the stuff you smelled together.
No, it's far, far, far from oud. I mean, it's like, I actually ordered this skunk extract.
What?
I found it on one of these perfumery supply websites. This, they sell these botanicals and whatever. It said natural skunk, American skunk, right? I said, well, I have to smell that. So I bought some skunk. They had some muskrat. They had some.
This is the thing the skunk sprays on.
The actual juice. Yeah, the actual skunk juice.
Yeah.
They said, don't worry, we don't kill the skunks for that. It's just like a roadkill or something.
That's what they actually said?
Either that, or I mean, it's either roadkill, or they use it to make fur or something. They're using it for something useful to them. I don't know if it's like American Indians.
Maybe there's a way to milk them, or
I
get
forgot
them to
what they
spray
said.
it out. Yeah.
I highly doubt that they're keeping them alive.
Well, whatever it is, they don't have to worry about them being extinct, because no one's going to buy that skunk. They're not an endangered species.
I don't think they're gonna go on the CITES list anytime soon.
No.
So you smelled it? You smelled the
Yes,
skunk?
actually we did.
I actually let him open the box.
Yeah, he was very generous using it as a guinea pig. Yeah.
I said, you open it first.
And he didn't tell me what was in it, obviously.
I didn't tell him what it was, right? So I said, you do the honors.
And you were expecting something good.
Well, I didn't know what to expect, because I learned over the last few weeks that Ensar anything could come out of that box, right? Yeah. So I didn't know, because there were some pretty smells that I didn't really expect, right? And so this one though, I mean, it was very strong, but not as strong as it was when we took off the wrapper. The box, you could smell it, but when we took off and opened up the bottle, he was going to faint. Actually,
I had to stop the filming, and I had to wash my hands, get a cup of water. I was feeling very queasy, like I was going to literally vomit or something, And it didn't help. It didn't help that after the skunk, after we put that away. The next thing that I pulled out was this muskrat extract, like the gland of the muskrat. That to me was it wasn't as potent as the skunk in terms of like sheer strength, but the type, it was even more disgusting. It was like appalling. It was like this synthetic musk it just didn't sit well with my chemistry, I guess. I really hated that.
So are people using that stuff or something?
Yeah, people use that for
tiny amounts
and these airport perfumes.
But they probably don't put on the ingredients though. I don't think it would sell much perfume if you got skunk written on there.
Skunk LTD. That's a good one. Skunk Royale. After the muskrat, then comes the petrified centennial urine of the Hyrax from Somalia, right? Hyrax urine and feces that's turned to rock, over hundreds of years, and then they use it in perfumery as a musk source, right? And that too is, imagine literally you're swiping urine, on your skin, right? It has this almost acceptable thing to it, but in terms of when Sheikh Ehab says that I've smelled a few exotic things, that's definitely on the top of the list there,
Yeah. So the skunk, we had to put it back into the bottle, put it back into the wrapper, into the box. I think that you put it in a bottle, right?
We put it in the Pyrex, like tightly sealed, and then Kruger, he really liked it. I said, this is my gift to you. You've done a really good job.
So generous.
You can take this one.
But if you want that, don't bother buying it. Come to New Jersey and just look, you'll smell skunk kills all over the place.
Yeah. Well, talking of skunk and all these musks, one thing I wanted to show you is I made this real musk perfume, real deer musk. And I want to get your thoughts on it. I've never shown you this before.
Sure?
I'm positive. This is my private edition.
Yeah, I think you did that.
That's number 2. That's EO number 2.
No. This, I think you sprayed this on. But I'm willing to say no.
You're willing
I'm willing to say no. I never tried it before.
You know how personally, once I eat quinam or smell any of these the Vietnamese woods and these kind of things, everything becomes like a fog. It's like everything goes into it blends into one experience, and you can't really you don't want to take this during your medical exams or board certification or these kind. It doesn't work, right?
This is downtime only.
I forgot that I sprayed this on you, but if you don't want it, it's fine. I'll just show the doc. It's,
Well, no, the whole idea is that of course I want it, but the evaluation of its smell, description, you can leave to the doc.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll begin with Sheikh Ehab.
Thank you. Yes.
And then I'll give you a. Oops. Sometimes you miss. You don't know which way it's going to spread.
They might think we're doing something else besides the urban say. Really careful.
So what you're smelling now, this one is different to EO number 2 in that this is the batch, the private batch, right? I took the foundation of EO number 2 and I wanted to make something that I could spray on myself, and I don't want it to be so.
This is a very accessible scent, I think.
You think
for
so?
a Western nose.
Really?
Yeah. It's not.
What do you get from it?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, maybe something flowery.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, man, I appreciate it, but I have trouble describing what's in there.
Do you like it?
I really like it.
You really
Yes.
like it? Because I showed it to some people in the UK, right? Some perfumers and other people. They were they really wanted it. I said, well, I only made this much. I said, I only made this for myself. I didn't think that anybody would want this. Because I took the musk component of EO number 2 and then it just went through the roof. It's like the entire fixative, the entire carrier, the medium that I blended it in is pure musk tincture, right? So the musk component in this one is as high as it goes.
No, you can smell it.
You can smell it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It smells like urine.
No, but you can smell that
The muskiness.
Yeah, the muskiness of it.
Yeah.
But no, that's why I'm surprised you don't remember, because this I said I like this actually. I don't like spray perfumes.
I think you're probably thinking about maybe the other ones.
Well, anyway, we can review that. Yeah, you can review that and you can see. But I'm pretty sure, because I remember whenever you say my private batch, I always pay particular attention to that. Because I figure, well, if it's private batch, I'm sure it's something special. So,
Yeah.
but I like it actually. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of peppery smell also.
Yep, there's 2 types of pepper in there. One of them being pink pepper. You got a good nose, Doc.
I'm pushing the limits.
No, you got a good nose, man. Really. Can you smell any oud in there?
I smell a little citrus. Is there any
See,
citrus?
that's the one where even like the best noses in the industry. I mean, I had like this one of the top reviewers that was going to cover this say that, oh, it smells like citrus. There's definitely some kind of grapefruit or some kind of lime or something. I said, there's no citrus. There's absolutely no citrus in there. No. It's just a synergy. It's a synergy between like the rosewood and the other components, because there is rosewood is in the top, and that together with coriander, there's some coriander in there, and the pepper, it creates this fruity, citrusy kind of aura. And I haven't sprayed it on anyone to date who doesn't say, oh, there's citrus in there, but there's no citrus.
But you can smell the oud, I think. I can.
Yeah, there is definitely an oud.
Well, I'm saying it's more accessible, I think, is I think a woman could wear it. Quite easily. And it's similar to the combinations you find in the airport, just on a different plane.
Yeah, I always wanted to make like an airport quality. That's my life's goal.
I'm not talking about the quality, but I don't know, the kind of smells and combinations of the smells that they're popular.
Yeah,
the Western audience.
I mean, the Western audience is just it's the same thing as this, only it's like all synthetic.
Right.
But this is all natural. That's the only difference. Yeah. So the perfumery, I mean, you can't make up smells that don't exist in the natural world. Right. It's like you have the citrus family, you have the spice family, you have the woods, you have the resins, you have the animalics, you have all of the florals and all these things. And you can only refer to these things, and if anything is in the middle, it's going to be like a hybrid, like a citrus floral, or like a resinous wood. It's not going to be where you come from, like Mars, and you have something totally unexperienced, in human experience. I mean, it's going to be something like so. When they make these airport, smells that you like to talk about, they are referring to the natural world only to make it scalable. To make it where they can just like push buttons and get the same juice every time. It has to have a synthetic, base. You know why? Because you can replicate the aroma every single time. Of course, they use naturals. They use naturals as well, because I've never heard in my entire career of anybody synthesizing like orange peel. Maybe they do, like they got like limonene and these kind of things. But it's never going to smell like proper bitter orange expressed, and that's like the cheapest thing you can buy. Yeah. So no one's going to make synthetic.
Exactly. Why would you spend the money on doing that when
why
it's
would you make
available?
Synthetic, vetiver? Even though they do, they have like a synthetic twist on vetiver. They take vetiver, and to make it like I mentioned, to make it uniform and the same every single time, so that they can replicate the smell, they turn it into what? They turn it into vetiveryl acetate.
I see.
Right? So every time it's the same note, it's that vetiver note, and then you dress that in these limonene and these,
But it loses the complexity, because it's just a portion of the...
Yeah, but you can pair that with thousands of components to make a different kind of complexity, and because they're synthetic, they have this much stronger silage and the staying power, and the loudness, the sheer, like someone could walk in here and we can have a reaction of like what did you put on, because the sheer strength of these things. So thank you for
this is the other impression is it's kind of like a light, airy smell, which is it's like a palate cleanser almost from oud. It's like it's very it's different. Oud is heavy and dark sometimes.
Oud is very meditative. Yeah, very meditative, very spiritual. This
like an everyday scent.
Yeah, this is sensual. This is something that
yes,
it engages the senses. The oud like quietens the senses. You even your memory becomes a flux, and the soul is like awakened. You want to contemplate and ponder. Oud is a very different thing, because like we said with Sheikh Ehab one time, is that oud is the experience of the struggle for life. The tree, and what leads to oud being formed inside the trunk, is the tree is facing, annihilation. It can die. right? So because of the attack or because of the wound or the infection or whatever it is facing, it needs to stay alive, so it emits this resin that helps it fight off whatever is threatening it. This is the product of what? Of pollination, of mating, of things reproducing, all of these things. The flowers, the citruses, the musks, all of these they come into existence in order to invite more existence, reproduction. You know, the bee can go from one flower by smelling it and then carry the genetic info to the other flower, and then this way the flowers pollinate and we get more flowers, right? And the citruses, same thing. You know, the fruit, the rind is like, it has this beautiful color and the aroma to attract people to eat them, predators or even, you know, animals, so that they can then, after they ingest them, then the seed is extracted in another place, and then that botanical can carry on staying alive, the cycle of life, right? This is different. The oud is different in that this is an immediate and a personal encounter with non-existent, with death, you know, with
an epic struggle.
Yeah, so it's an epic struggle for life, which is why it's this vista onto this other realm. It's a window for the soul to behold this other. It's like looking at, for me, it's like looking at the next life.
Wow. Well, you're getting a little bit too serious there for me.
I never thought about that.
Well, hope you enjoy that. I think that's because he smelled the oud too much, so now he went off on a tangent. So basically, it's a dead tree, and they get and there you have it.
I thought you had. What happened to the flower power?
Yeah, no, that's a little bit too deep. That's really the, you know, the dying and the next world and all that.
This is what we're talking about.
It brings out the best, right? When there's a struggle, right?
Yeah.
It brings out the best in people, right? When you go through hardships, it's you know, trial by fire. But right, you have to go through hardships.
Yeah.
To really.
No, I'm just joking with him, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, that such a sweet thing can come out of death or sickness. In itself is amazing, right?
It's the struggle for life.
Yeah.
It's this,
but the trees usually don't die, right? I mean, you can actually shave off pieces.
I mean, in itself, you know, the tree is not expecting. It's not that another being will go there and shave off the infection or do something to keep it alive.
Right.
This is its own personal.
So usually they do die, or they are successful.
Eventually they die.
From that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so that's what you find in like the swamp, you know.
Yeah, that's what you call like soil agarwood, like trees that naturally died. They collapsed. They were buried under the overgrowth. There's new soil. There's new leaves that fell on top, and they formed this new strata on the ground, and they're preserved like that. And this is trees that just died of natural causes. I think CITES should make an exception for those trees. I don't think they should regulate soil agarwood. You know,
No,
it's like, but they do.
Really?
Yeah. Like whale, you know, like the ambergris. The ambergris is not on the CITES list because it's just whale, you know, excrement or vomit. You know, it just comes out, and then unless it floats on the ocean and is cured by the iodine, by the wind and the salt and the sun, it's not really valuable. You get this ambergris that's like freshly extracted from like the intestinal tract of a sperm whale, and it's like it's just like proper feces. It's like, what is that? It doesn't become ambergris unless it is cured on the waves.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
To think, you know, what it takes to make it.
Nature at its best.
And time cast forth my mortal creature to sink or to swim or drown upon the sea. I think he said something like this, one of the poets, right? And I that was rich was made the richer by eating ambergris. Some people eat it. Like I was talking to this guy in Ireland. He said, "Oh, this is like majesty in a cup." I'm like,
"What do you mean he eats it?"
I thought of you.
Oh, that's nice, right?
He said this is like centennial majesty and you can eat it. I was like, I'm going to tell Sheikh Ehab about it.
Does he eat it?
He actually eats it. He said he has inflammation.
Like a chunk?
It works.
Yeah, it works for inflammation. He said, I have terrible arthritis, I got inflammation, I got big problems. If I just put it in a cup of hot chocolate and I drink the ghee, he said, immediately the pain goes away. I said, I am not drinking sperm whale feces. No matter what you tell me.
Oh, but that's good to know. I'm glad you told me. Just,
but Sidi, I mean, you're Shafi.
Some people really struggle. I'm not talking about for myself, but some people really struggle with arthritis.
So you're gonna tell them to eat whale?
I don't know. I mean, in some cases, you can
take a rukhsa.
Yeah, for medical reasons.
For medical
nothing else works. I mean, some people are in tremendous pain at the end of their lives.
I hear you. I mean, if you're talking about if you want a natural remedy, you can explore that. Ambergris. I mean, they said that. This is what I heard. So I don't sue me if it doesn't work.
He's not a doctor, and he's
not try this at home.
Yeah, I mean, this is the doc. Remember that? He said it. He's gonna try it.
They always say, talk to your doctor about this. It's like, talk to
very few doctors know about natural cures. Like,
whale about it? Are you kidding? Are you crazy?
They can talk to you.
One thing I found out though is natural cures, right, or prescriptions don't work for everyone. It's not like, for example, you say, oh, this cures this, or this helps this, and you take. And I'm speaking from experience. Nothing works, right? So it's basically how your system is made. Some things might work for you, some things not. Same thing as some things might affect you.
Yeah.
Some things might not.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't think probably that would be the last thing I'm going to try.
Right.
Yeah. Before I try the other things that are more commonly available.
Yeah.
Right. But it's good to keep in the back of my mind.
If you wanted to try it, only for you.
That big chunk of ambergris that you have.
I have this really nice from the Bahamas.
Yeah. Okay. Does it matter where it's from?
I know you're from that you're from those waters, So I think that would make the most. If I told you like I have some like New Zealand, you'd be like that's far away. The dog, Sheikh Ehab, and we'll be back.